So, we all have jobs, don't we?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're recording right now. We don't.
No, I just know back when we were younger, we were just talking about basically our insecurities and all that stuff back in our childhood. Recently, I said that I wanted to be an NFL player back when I was younger, and we know how that turned out. That was one of my goals. But, when I got a little bit older, probably like, let's say high school, college, I thought it'd be pretty cool to be part of an NFL organization, like eventually be a GM, or be an owner of a sports team, because I would still be involved in football, but I'm not that tall or that heavy to be an NFL player, but it would still be cool to be part of that organization and just still be involved with the decisions and everything. So, what were your future job like? What did you want to be back when you were younger?
So
We'll go with Patrick.
Oh, yes. I was hoping I was next.
I like it.
So if I had a name, like, let's say 2 jobs, right, that I would want, right? My one that would be like a 1 in a million chance of me, getting it would be, let's guess, right? Naomi, could you guess if I could wish upon a star and I could be whatever I wanted to be, what do you think it would be?
A movie director.
Mesa? Lou?
I would say direct and act in your movies. What?
Dev?
Own your own production company because you already do it.
I would actually love to be a movie director. And I would probably star in my own movies. I don't know if I would want to be like the main star though. I would be like, in Iron Man, Happy, how he's like side character. That's what I would be. But if I had 1 in a million chances, I would love to make blockbuster films, and I would love to be the director. And I would make not like Stan Lee cameos. I think those are kind of cheesy, but shout out Stan Lee, right? But I would be like Happy, where he has like a small part that's kind of funny, and he's like in the movies. But I would love to be a movie director. That would have been absolutely awesome. There's just something different from like acting, and I get to put what's in my mind, and kind of see
Make it real,
live. So.
Yes, because kind of like on paper, you can read it on paper and you're imagining in your head, but everybody imagines it differently. And this is your chance as a director to put it out on screen what you imagined.
That's what I hate whenever people say that, like, oh, that movie wasn't like the book, or that movie wasn't like the comic book, or that movie wasn't. I hate that because, like, this is the director. Whatever director they chose, this is his vision. When he read that book, this is his vision. When he read that script, that's why, like, one of my pet peeves is, like, I hate when people say that was nothing like the movie or nothing like the original, right? You always hear that. It was nothing like the original. No, it's a separate piece. It's a separate art, right? You can't compare the two. This is his vision. So, yeah, I would have loved to be a movie director. My second one, that would be, I guess, a little more realistic. What I kind of geared my life kind of towards would be in law enforcement. I grew up around law enforcement, so that's what I've always wanted to be. That's what I basically trained my whole life to become. So, yeah. Law enforcement would have definitely been in
realistic.
My shot there. Yeah, law enforcement in general. It was like literally from my day one. I'm just kidding. But when I was young, I would run around the house being like, LAPD! Right? I had a little fake badge. I would run around. And that was my dream. That was like my goal.
Were you singing Bad Boys, Bad Boys?
You know
what you gonna do?
Yeah, so that would have been mine.
So the realistic one would be I wanted to be, and it could still happen, but either a kindergarten PE teacher, or just a kindergarten teacher. Something to do with kids, like young kids, like 4 to 5 years old. That'd be fun. And then my one that's way far-fetched would be a dancer. So like a background dancer in like Vegas for J-Lo. Something like that. That would be so fun. I still would love to do like
salsa classes.
Salsa
That's what
classes
she says all the
and
time.
classes. I would love to do classes.
Would you like to teach salsa classes or just take salsa classes?
At this point, I would have to just take them. But that would be so fun. I love dancing.
You even said too, possibly open up a daycare. I remember you saying that one time.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That would be awesome. Like running it. We need those here. So who wants to be in?
It's a hard pass.
So why a teacher?
Because I feel like you actually have a lot in your hands. So you can mold these children at a young age, and you can actually spot the ones that are going through things at home and you can change them. Because I had a teacher who I will never forget, and I'm pretty sure y'all probably had one that changed you. So it's a great position to have to be.
That is crazy. We've talked about that, just a podcast ago, how one person says, we talked about it on the opposite way. One person says something negative and it sticks with you. But I've had, a teacher tell me something. I remember him pulling me aside and be like, it was my band director. It was the second band director, okay? And I was good in band, right? But I was a troublemaker, right? So the first band director didn't really want me because I was a troublemaker, right? And I guess he thought I would, mess up his vibe, right? Anyways, the second band director said, okay, I want to put you in my band, make you first chair, have you lead this section. But he was like, I believe in you. Yeah, and I was young. I was like a freshman or a sophomore, I remember. He was like, I believe in you. I know you can do it. He goes, I just need you to prove that you can do it, right? And that was like a defining, changing moment for me, to know that, I could be a leader, right? That was the first time, I was like, oh, okay, it's not just me. I can lead. Someone believes in I can lead. So, yeah, I can see exactly where you're coming from because what one teacher says could change your life.
Mm-hmm. Mine was Miss Mills in 5th grade, and she wrote me this big old letter, and she just made me more confident. I used to get picked on by these boys every day at lunch because I had really long hair. My mom would braid it, and these 2 boys would just pull on it, pick on. I would go to the restroom sometimes and just cry during lunch and hide in there during lunch. These boys were so mean. They were so mean. They would just yank my ponytail, and I just remember she just changed everything for me. She just gave me confidence, and I got mean, and I was mean to them, and I would tell the teacher. Finally, I got the confidence to tell them, and then they started getting in trouble. Yeah.
Wow.
I like it.
Who are they? Devin will beat them up.
Devin will find
I still remember
I will
actually their
find
names.
you.
I still
Specific
remember who
set of
they
skills.
were. One's in jail.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, anyways.
All right.
Alrighty.
Took a sharp left turn.
Okay, next up is Mesa Lou.
So my unrealistic dream, which I think again is very, I might be able to do actually, is be an NBA basketball player. Totally kidding. But yes, my unrealistic dream would be being an NBA basketball player. I loved basketball for as long as I can remember. I learned how to spin a ball on my finger as soon as I could dribble, probably.
But can you say the number pi in the top of your head?
Oh my gosh, 3.147. I don't remember it.
Oh, that was really good, actually. Behind the scenes, we're filming a movie, and he has to say
3.14.
Yeah, he says the pi 10 decimals in while spinning a basketball on his finger.
Yeah. So again, that's why I can't stress enough how much I love basketball and everything that even to this day, that's one of the things that I do to, get away from the world and separate myself to kind of just relax and get away. Basically, basketball is one of the things that helps me really relax, even though it is an intense game and it can be competitive. To me, it really helps me relax. So, unfortunately, I'm 5'9". So that kind of hurt my chances.
And we can't run more than half a mile.
Yeah.
I mean, buddy, Isaiah Thomas is around that height, buddy.
Yeah, no, he's a lot better than I am. But my realistic dream, this is something I've thought about too, and I used to always think too that I wanted to do was do sports debate or just any kind of sports talk shows or even a beat writer for a team. Traveling with one of the NBA teams and being able to meet the players in the locker room, be able to talk to them afterwards and write articles and kind of see where that goes from there. And I think that would be super cool. If that's something if you can't, physically achieve, be a professional athlete, the next best thing is to be with them and hang out with them and kind of learn how they work and just be, on the road with them. So I thought that'd be cool.
That would be pretty cool.
Would you ever be a coach?
I would love to be a coach. I think that being a beat writer would be a little easier.
More realistic?
Yeah, more realistic.
Yeah.
I think coaching is very difficult. And I wanted to be a coach when I was younger too, but high school and middle school or whatever. And then you kind of run into the fact that there's not a whole lot of job security. You don't win, and guess what? They're going to fire you. You're gone. Now you got to move your family to a new town. Hopefully you can find another job. So I think that's one of the things that really steered me away from being a coach and kind of look into doing writing and beat writing for professional teams.
Did you always want a family?
Whoa. I was not prepared for that one. think as I was younger, I think you kind of have that mentality if you're gonna have a wife and kid, and the picket fence and nice house. But I think as I got older, I kind of started to realize that might not be what I want, maybe. So being, the rider would have been something that I could have done without, like you said, being away for months at a time.
Right.
That's something, with a family that can be a challenge. So I think as I got older, I kind of did the opposite, right? So I kind of went away from that, opposed to as I got older wanting in that.
And so what has changed that is because we've had this conversation and you've said that you really want kids. What has changed that your mentality has changed? We were playing a board game one time and the question was like, I don't remember what it was. It was 5 great things about kids or something like that. And the people in the room that had kids like struggled to name it. And you were like on point. You were like, this
Love.
is, yeah. What happened to that Mesa Lou?
It's tough. It's tough to be responsible for another human being, I think. And it's a lot of stress and it's a lot of pressure. And I see like my little brother going through it and, my mom helping taking care of him. And I'm in Midland, so my mom's not, in the same town as me where I can rely on somebody. My dog, for example, this past week, like, I had a huge fiasco with my dog not getting fed for a few days and also getting out because he didn't get tied up. That's a dog. You know what I mean? Like, when that happens to my child, like that's going to be a completely different scenario and something that I just don't want to be responsible for sometimes. So
PETA is now coming after you because I think you did not like your dog.
Yeah.
Feed your dog for
I was gone for a week, guys. I was in Dallas for training, so bear with me. It wasn't my fault.
You do kind of
Promise.
need somebody around. Like me and my sister, we rely on each other
Yeah.
a lot. We help each other out. So you do need somebody.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't. Patrick's here, but I don't know how much help he would be. Like me and Patrick.
Well, I
Okay,
mean,
so
the female may have the family to have that.
yeah, I guess that's true.
So what if
True.
what if that's the thing? Like, you're the female you're with has family. Or...
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and it's not completely out of the question. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not something that I'm like a hard no. I put a line in the sand. I'm not having a child someday.
Right.
But it is something that I've steered myself away from a little bit because of what I've been able to witness and be a part of.
Witness.
Yeah. So that's why a little bit more. I mean, okay, buddy, we've been good friends for what? How long now?
A couple months, maybe.
Okay, a couple months. And within those short months, within these past few years, how much have we struggled getting through life, like just doing adult things? You know what I mean?
I think you always struggle though. I think like to wait for a time in your life that you're not struggling.
Oh, you're
No,
right.
and rich people struggle.
You're right, and it's not about waiting till I'm not struggling anymore. It's about the fact that I am struggling. Like, and you're like, you know what I mean? Like doing things to be able to teach my child someday. Like I'm not handy with certain stuff, like carpentry or electricity or whatever that like my dad is. So when my kid someday is like, "Hey, Dad, this broke," I'm gonna be like, "Sucks." You know what I mean?
But
So
you can learn on the way.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
screw
yeah,
up
your
the way.
kids
I
are
get
gonna
because then
think.
you're waiting for a point that you're 100% ready
Oh,
for.
you never will be.
and not necessarily
your kids are
waiting.
gonna think that you're amazing no matter what.
I doubt highly.
Like mine think that I'm like perfect, and I don't drink in front of them. Like I don't do, I keep them very shielded from it. But they're gonna think you're perfect. They're gonna think you're the best thing, and he knows how to do everything.
Right, but my parents did know how to do everything.
Well,
that's the difference.
That's what you think. They're probably like, "Oh, we do."
Start
did.
winking at each other right now. We're like, got him again.
So you don't think as you have a child, your mentality will change? Won't you feel like, okay, well, I have to do this. Don't you feel like you'll be a little bit, I don't know how to say this, a little bit more prepared?
Sure,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean?
But I think, okay, first off, let's just point out that this went completely off topic.
Okay,
This is turned into
Yes.
convince Mesa to have a kid. Like,
Okay, so we're gonna do what we just did a few weeks ago. We have door number 8. Okay. And it has Mesa, a single, no kids.
how am I getting picked on for this?
Because he's not ready and he's struggling. Or B, you're not single and you have kids. Which door do you walk through?
So, door number 1, I'm single and I'm not struggling.
No, you're struggling either way.
Oh,
Everyone
okay.
always struggles.
Okay.
Right? You're always gonna struggle, right?
Oh, you mean
everyone here
he'll
is
stay
struggle.
single?
Yeah.
Yeah,
his
you're
whole
gonna
Oh,
life?
stay single for the rest of my
the
life.
rest of your life, or B, you have a wife with
Oh.
your little children.
I would do the wife and children. But I think, again, it's not, I don't want, children are just not completely out of the question. Like, it's not something that I've drawn a hard line. I'm like, that's never going to happen. Is it, right now, am I leaning more towards not wanting to have kids? Yes. But if it happens, I'm not going to disown the kid and be like, sorry, I didn't want you, so I'm never gonna have you. You know what I mean? No, like if I'm dating a girl and she's like, I really want to have kids, that's a conversation that I'm comfortable sitting down and having that conversation with them. We'll work out the pros and cons about having a
The
kid.
pros and cons.
Like that.
You know what I mean? So like that's
I mean, what if it's your wife and she says, "I want to have a kid"?
again, it's
Because you said girlfriend.
okay,
Girlfriend and
wife.
are
It's
two
a
different
complete.
things.
It's a possibility. It's not a for sure thing that I'm gonna say yes or no. But at this very moment right now, if you ask me if I wanted to have a kid, I'd probably tell you no.